right, everybody, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. Asanteni sana for tuning in and being a part of the show. A few of you asking, kindly ask Sharastin how we can reach him. If online branding is an assurance of your business growing, very interesting question there. And does it really fully market you? I think having that presence is important, is I think what he would say. And it's a way of promoting yourself. So, you know, you want information out there about what you do. But for those asking how you can reach him, he did share his contacts. You can visit his website as well, sharastinmengo.com, I believe it was. But right now we're going to switch gears and tackle our final topic for the day as we get ready for the top of the hour. I do need to apologize. We will have to postpone the conversation on how to start a business, but we're certainly going to cover that at another point. But right now we are going to talk about the difference between coaching and leadership. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar even with what coaching is, who is it for, why is it necessary, do you have a coach in your life, and how does that even relate to mentoring? I think a lot of people have a bit of confusion about the two, and we want to talk about that today. So joining me here, I have Emily Kamunde Osoro, who's the Global Director of the International Coach Federation. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you.
Good. Now, as we get ready to understand, you know, what coaching is, how does it affect leadership, why do I need it, is it any different from mentorship? Tell us a bit about this federation and your own story as far as getting to a point of being a coach.
Right. Thank you, Joyce. So the International Coach Federation is the largest global organization, and its role is majorly to set standards as far as coaching is concerned. It also accredits institutions to offer coach training, and it provides credentialing for individuals who have been trained. So generally speaking, the ICF is a go-to organization on matters coaching, on thought leadership, because they conduct a lot of research in this area, supporting both coaches and also supporting organizations as far as, you know, developing their leadership is concerned.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So when we're talking about coaching, what does that entail? Why should someone seek coaching? What does it give the person?
Right. Coaching is a tool actually that you use for as a leadership approach. Coaching is we define it at the ICF as partnering with a client in a thought-provoking and creative process that enables one to maximize their personal and professional potential. So it's very personal in the sense that it supports individuals to resolve issues that they are struggling with, whether it's, you know, a decision that they need to make, or, you know, building their own self-confidence, getting to understand more of who they are, finding their purpose. Coaching plays a great role in that. Organizations today are spending, you know, investing quite a bit in terms of developing not just the leaders, but you know, even at the lower levels, because what coaching does, it creates a sense of accountability. It supports teams to be more coherent and enables managers to even manage performance better. So it's a really wide spectrum, and I look at it as an element within leadership in itself.
Okay. Yeah. So for those of you wanting to be leaders out there or are leaders, this is something that you should be perhaps aspiring to do for your own teams. But maybe we can broaden it for those who are watching us who perhaps are not at that point. They may be very young people, maybe just clearing off campus or in their homes, and really trying to figure out their purpose, really trying to figure out exactly what they want to do in life. And it sounds like you're saying coaching can actually assist you with that, whether or not you're a CEO or not.
Absolutely. In fact, coaching is for everyone. You use coaching even at home with your children, in terms of, you know, because coaching doesn't involve telling, as opposed to other interventions where you share experiences or you tell, you know, give solutions. Coaching actually assumes that individuals have so much resources within them, and what a coach does is to really spark that and enable the individual to really kind of access their inner resources that then enables them to identify what it is they want. A lot of young people would need this to, you know, help them building their careers, identify what it is do I need to do for myself, do I start my own business, do I go look for a job, and basically helping you to unstuck, if
Yeah.
there's such a word. Yeah.
So you're not, coaching isn't about advising someone on what to do. You're saying it is sort of posing all these sorts of questions or thoughts that you kind of come up with a solution yourself.
Yes, absolutely. You got it. And there are a number of tools that one uses to really support the client to identify those solutions, depending on the particular challenge they are facing. As opposed to mentoring, which I heard you mention at the beginning. You see, when you work with a mentor, it's normally an individual who is more experienced and an expert, so to speak, in the area that you're looking to grow into. On the other hand, coaching is, you don't have to be an expert in that particular field to coach somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah, because
so then a lot of people then would question that, like, how are you going to help me I guess find myself and come out of my shell and do all that I'm aspiring, given the differences that you're raising. So what does that process actually look like? I don't know if you can walk us through like some of either the activities or the exercises that one would do under coaching, because I'm sure a lot of people will be listening to this like, but then if you don't have experience in my field, how am I going to learn from you? And maybe it's also just because of the way we've been raised, that we're used to being taught and told. And this is about bringing out in other ways. So maybe can you walk us through a bit of the experience, the process of what one can expect if they are to go in for coaching?
Right. So ideally, when you come into a coaching conversation, you have an agenda. There is something that you want to address as a person, and that's what you discuss with the coach. The coach's role is to listen, right? Because active listening is one of the core competencies that they teach in coaching. A lot of people, one of the things that we don't do very well is actually listen. And by listening, you're then actually giving the client the space to kind of be able to explore the issues that they are going through. By going through a coach training, we go through a number of competencies that we support coaches to then support the clients. And those include, supporting clients with creativity, because we are extremely creative beings, and that's, links into the resourcefulness that I talked about. So there are a number of tools that would be provided to the coach so that they're able to support the client depending on whatever situation that they are dealing with. Again, it's a skill. It's an art. They say it's an art, and it's also a science, and really coaching is more about who you are as an individual, as opposed to not just the skill that you will get, but you've also got to really have the knack for it.
And so about how long does sort of a coaching process take? Is there sort of a timeline to it for maybe someone who's keen on that right now? Does it take a while? Is there any sort of assessment that happens, or is it just sort of like a life journey that you're walking with someone?
Yeah, a good coach will usually give you some sort of assessment so that they're able to understand you better, which is scientifically driven, to enable you understand your personality, how you're basically wired, your behavioral styles, because then it sets stage for a coaching conversation to take place. Ideally, coaching sessions are 1 hour, but they can be as short as 20-30 minutes.
Okay.
But on average, coaching sessions are 1 hour.
Over like what period of time?
Over the period, well, you could have, for you to have a really valuable coaching relationship, then I would say 6 sessions would suffice. So some people would do it over 6 months, or you could do every 2 sessions in a month, depending, but 6 sessions is ideal. There are those who would actually have up to a 1 year period of coaching session.
All right, well, let's talk about, I know a lot of people were excited about talking about business, but let's touch on how coaching could possibly help someone seeking to start a business. Is there any sort of linkage there? Because, again, a lot of people would try and run to find a mentor which would be someone who's already done business, be very successful in business. But then there's also the question of time. That person maybe is just not available. And so your next best option, or perhaps even your first best option, would be to find a coach. How does coaching sort of check in with now our own personal goals, right? So if someone wants to start a business, as a life coach or as a business coach, as a career coach, what are some of the things that you would be asking them to really pay attention to?
Right. So essentially, starting a business is a whole new venture, and it really has got to start with the questions of why is it important for this individual to start a business. So it's very important for them to answer specific questions as to what drives them to start a business. Are they doing it because it's within their passion? Are they doing it because other people are starting a business, or it's purely because I don't have anything else to do? So the why question is really important, and working with a coach would really help to explore that in a sense of where to begin. And again, some of the challenges that startups are facing today include things to do with financing. Where do I get capital? And therefore we would be able to explore what are the options for you to actually, where can you access these finances for you to set up your own business? Where do you actually begin? Another challenge is really around skills development, capacity building. A lot of business owners will start, but then they suffer from the resourcing side of things. Either you don't have very skilled individuals, you can't afford to pay them, or they even don't have the right skills, and therefore you're limited. And of course, another challenge really I normally see is around scaling up when it comes to small businesses. So a coach will really help you to then walk through that journey and address each of those challenges one at a time, and eventually support the client to come up with options of where they can actually get solutions to those.
So it's not that the coaching is only applicable at the beginning when you're figuring out your why and the purpose. It sounds like even along the way, as you're trying to get to different milestones, there is opportunity for coaching.
Absolutely, you sound like a coach. You sound like you really understand it. That's really what it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. So someone here is asking if you have conferences or events where you coach young people, and this, of course, the show has a lot of young viewers. A lot of people maybe are stuck a little bit, right? Maybe school fees has run out, they've not been able to find a job. What sort of opportunities, if any, are there for young people as far as finding a coach? Because then there'd be a lot of concerns about, on an individual one-to-one basis, maybe that might be a bit of a stretch for many. But are there any sort of forums or platforms that youth in particular can attend?
I think there are quite a number. I wouldn't want to point onto one specific one, but I do know that given that coaching is quite a new kind of subject today, there are a lot of young coaches who are willing to offer even pro bono coaching. And even at ICF, we actually normally offer what you call celebrating coaching through a number of events. We normally hold career days, partnering with local universities and colleges. We go in there and talk to students and actually offer those coaching services on a one-off basis. We've done it, I think, twice this year. But having said that, there are other institutions that do offer that. And again, I think it's also an opportunity for coaches out there to actually, offer themselves and really be able to support the youth as far as coming up as young professionals and developing their careers is concerned. How affordable is it? Can anyone just access it? Again, that is a challenge that we're having to deal with, because coaching has been seen as more of an executive service. And essentially it actually should be available to almost anybody. So I think it's also an opportunity for coaches also to look at it and say, how can we actually also be able to access the bottom of the pyramid and be able to meet the needs of those that need coaching at this particular time.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for coming through to Full Circle with Joyce. We've been talking about coaching. Again, here, just to reiterate, we're saying that anybody can get coaching. And for the young people watching this, it sounds like this could also be a potential career, right? And so if someone is interested in maybe exploring this, is there a way that they can contact you guys as your federation, sort of support that? Or how does one get into this field of coaching as we wrap up?
Right. Very good question. So the International Coach Federation does not train coaches, but it accredits institutions to offer training programs. So if you went on our website, you will be able to see the training providers available who offer coaching programs. So some colleges are doing this at the universities at basic foundation level, but you also have accredited institutions that have been given the mandate to train in coaching. And indeed, it's an upcoming career, very promising, that can be combined with, as part of a leadership growth and journey. Yeah.
Thank you, Emily, once again for being here on Full Circle with Joyce. And thank you guys for your comments and your feedback throughout the show. We've come to the top of the hour, and so I need to wrap up. Taking us there, we have the song Usikate Tamaa by Baraka Music featuring Guardian Angel. Enjoy this in a minute.
Sasa yuko nasi, alitupanga kabla tujipange, alitujua fiti hata kabla tuzaliwe. Vile ilivyo ndivyo alivyopanga. Toka zama za Daudi hadi sasa yuko nasi, alitupanga kabla tujipange, alitujua fiti hata kabla tuzaliwe. Vile ilivyo ndivyo alivyopanga iwe. Ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa. Ana mipango na ana mipango nawe, ana mipango nawe, ana mipango nawe. Mwami Yesu ali nawe halala, in tough times and good times you gonna be together. Walishapoteza maisha walala, lakini wewe unajua utainuka tena. Mwami Yesu ali nawe halala, in tough times and good times you gonna be together. Walishapoteza maisha walala, lakini wewe unajua utainuka tena. Fuka mikavu itafufuka tena, itafufuka tena. Ulipopoteza utavipata tena, utavipata tena. Ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa. Ana mipango na ana mipango nawe, ana mipango nawe, ana mipango nawe. Unadhani ni wangapi walianguka zama na wakainuka tena? Ni wangapi walidhani maisha yao yamezama na yakanyanyuka tena? Maisha yako yatainuka tena, yatainuka tena. Maisha yako yatainuka tena, yatainuka tena. Ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa, ngoja kidogo usikate tamaa. Ana mipango na ana mipango nawe, ana mipango nawe, ana mipango nawe.
We've come to the end of our show here today. Asanteni sana for your company all the way from 8 a.m. Kama umekuwa nami kutoka asubuhi, by the way, thumbs up to you. I really do appreciate you. And right now we have to go, but we'll be back here tomorrow, of course, for more Full Circle with Joyce all the way from 8 a.m. And as I go, let me leave you again with today's quote, which was, "A pessimist is one who makes difficulties of his opportunities, and an optimist is one who makes opportunities of his difficulties," and that's by Harry S. Truman. So as you head out into the day, into the brand new week, may you have that at the fore of your mind and trust God, to see you through whatever it is you're setting your hands to do. Until tomorrow, have yourselves a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Ciao.